Have you ever seen somebody do something so amazing that you never thought they were capable of, that blew your mind? This past fall, I've seen it a few times in my life. This past fall, I saw one in particular. I saw my dad go from walking with my mom's walker, hunched over like an old man, to trekking in the Black Hills in just a matter of months. So we have to rewind back. See, my dad had a minor fall that turned into a major incident that ripped away a big part of his life. And so my dad, you gotta know my dad, he's 80 years old, he does not like to work out, and he's overweight. Three strikes against him. But he had this fall, and we were over at his house, he had a fall. The next day he was complaining about some weakness in his knees. Being that I work with a chiropractor, that we sent him over to the chiropractor, worked on him a little bit. I did some rehab exercise with him, but still nothing got better. He still complained of weakness in the legs. So the chiropractor ordered an MRI. MRI shows nothing. So we just continued on with the chiropractic and the rehab, but he continued to get weaker and weaker. So we ordered a second MRI. Still nothing. He continued to get weaker, and we were kind of dumbfounded. Finally, we went to a specialist that ordered a third MRI, and what came up was he had a benign tumor in the middle of his back, which required immediate surgery. So my dad, you got to know, is a tough guy. And my dad was city champ wrestler. He was known in the bars of Minneapolis as being quite a barroom brawler. But for once in his life, he was out of control and he was scared. He actually got to the point where he was talking about selling his house, which is kind of his pride and joy, because he's got a big yard and acreage, and he loves that place. He also updated his will, so he was probably one of the most scared times I've seen him in his life. And so after that third MRI was revealed what the problem was, we got the surgery done, but after the surgery he was extremely weak. And this happened in the fall, and right after that surgery was deer camp. Now my dad has been hosting a deer hunting camp for almost 60 years, and this was going to be the first year out of those 60 years that he could not hunt. And I know when we went up there, he did actually go up to the cabin. When we went up there to hunt, it killed him to watch everybody else go out in the woods while he had to stay back at the cabin. To him, that was a tipping point. So as we got back from deer camp, my dad had to kind of suck up his ego. He had to come in and ask me for help. He knew he had to get stronger if he was going to enjoy hunting again. And you got to know my dad, he's got 2 Super Bowls every year of hunting. He likes to hunt year round, but the 2 Super Bowls are deer camp, which he just missed, and the other one was coming up in the spring, which was turkey hunting. So my dad asked me for help and asked me to help him get strong enough again so he can enjoy his passion hunting, because that is truly his passion. So we started training, and for once in my life, my dad had to listen to me, and he did listen to me. He even actually put in extra credit, came in on his own and did workouts on the treadmill to build up his endurance. My dad being my dad, though, there was those times where he questioned what I was doing and is this really working, and didn't think it was going to work. And I told him to trust the process, and he did. And slowly but surely he started to see some great results. He started to notice better balance. His strength increased. He had more endurance. And it finally got to the point where he went out pheasant hunting with one of his friends and was able to go out and walk the fields and start getting slowly back into some smaller hunts. So by the time that South Dakota trip rolled around, he was more than ready. In fact, he was the first one that got a turkey in South Dakota, and that meant, like I said, going up and down, trekking up the hills. He did it. So when we got back, hunting season was over, but he was able to start working in the yard again, which is passion number 2 right behind hunting. And I'm really proud of my dad, because to this day, he still comes in and does his sessions, because he realizes that a little bit of physical maintenance allows him to do the things he enjoys and doesn't limit him, so that he has to give the things up that really fuel his life. And from this process, I learned 3 things. Number 1 is having a strong vision and purpose in front of you is crucial. It's the fuel that keeps you going. My dad, like I said, never liked to work out, but his purpose was pretty obvious. You took away his passion, and he wanted his passion back. And I would encourage you to write this down, even put a picture to it or a vision board. If you have something you're passionate about that you want to see happen in your life, make sure you have it visible to remind you, because life is busy and we're going to forget those things in a day-to-day busy life. Number 2 is any daunting challenge, or any challenge that seems daunting or maybe next to or almost impossible, you need a guide. There's no way my dad would have done the things he did without the help of myself, because this is out of his area, his scope of expertise. My dad was a real estate agent. He has no clue about the human body. So having somebody that knows how to progress and implement progressions and a program that's going to work for him, being that he's 80 years old, overweight, and never really worked out, but get him to where he wants to be, that's going to look different than another program. So having that person that's going to guide you and make sure your program's solid and that it's a realistic program for you is crucial. So I always encourage people, get a coach for anything that you can't accomplish on your own that seems overwhelming. And number 3 is going to be, whatever goal is ever worth it, I don't care what it is, it's going to take hard work and discipline. That means you're going to have to decide, what are you willing to give up to accomplish this goal? You need to block time to do this goal. So my dad had appointments set with me, and he also had days that he had set aside to come in and work on the treadmill. So you have to make time for the goals, and you have to be willing to give some things up. And that definitely, my dad likes to do a lot of things he likes to do besides working out, but he still makes that time to work out and he gives up some of his other things so he can enjoy the things that he enjoys in life.